You can unmute your microphones. All right, we're back, and welcome to the 2021 Director Series Podcast. I'm your host, Joe Beard. Happy to be of service for you today. Today is, March 28th, 2021, 7 o'clock on the East Coast and 4 o'clock on the West Coast. We appreciate all those listening live or in podcast form through iTunes, YouTube, our blog, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, Periscope, or wherever you are on the interwebs. This podcast is brought to you by Block Band Music and Publishing, blockusup.com, SAY Marketing and Promotions, Kevin Peete of Remax Patriots, Math-Sci Tutoring and Educational Services, Sofia's Barbecue and Fish, Lamik's Video, and Bull City Music School. So welcome. And we are back with our unbelievable guest. We had a good time talking to him last week. And from what I hear, real good time talking. But with our one and only director of the North Carolina Central University, T.D. Hollins. How you doing in this podcast, sir?
Going on, man? Good to talk to you again.
Yeah, man. Likewise. Good to see you again. Made it through another week. So good to see that you in good spirits and doing okay. We are talking about his publication, The Diary of a Mad Band Director. All right. So you guys make sure you go buy that book from Amazon. I put the link to the Amazon publication there in the description of the video, either on YouTube or on Facebook. So you guys make sure you go get a hold of that. And last week, just a little bit of a recap, we started the introduction to the book, and we went through the first 5 chapters. We talked about Brother Hollins playing the piano. We talked about him and explained to us what sound living is. I had asked a question by rote, and he had broke that down to me and talked about a couple of his earlier experiences with the youth choir and his first arrangement with Now That We Found Love by the great Heavy D. Talked about the root of his passion. We talked about some growing pains. We got all the way through his high school graduation. Then we got through him his college decision, where he went to college. And another thing about the book, he's not using the exact cities and the exact schools or the exact names. So I got into a little bit of that with him and how he picked those things. And then the last chapter of chapter 5 that we discussed last week, Roots of Spreading, we talked about his transition into his transfer school, because he went to one school and then transferred to the next in his college career, and how he settled in there, finished with a degree in music, and was off to his first job. So that's where we are today. Shout out to all the people in the chat room. Let me go ahead and give you guys a good round of applause. I always appreciate the folks in the chat room supporting the network. And again, thank you everyone for listening and watching. So let's go ahead and do our first commercial break, and then we'll get into chapter 6 of part A. Today in this episode, we'll go through chapter 6 through chapter 10 of part A. All right. And so chapter 6 is starting off with sowing the seeds. And so we're now, TD has finished undergrad and now off to his first, launching his career and his first job experience. All right. Anything you wanted to say, man, before we get started with episode 2?
Hey, man, I'm looking forward to your questions. I know they're going to be crazy, and I got a lot to share tonight. So
Okay, nice.
Going on in.
All right, bet. So let's go ahead and get these first round of commercials out the way. You're listening to the March Podcast Radio Network. Shout out to all our sponsors. The 2021 Director Series Podcast with Diary of a Mad Band Director by T.D. Hollins. We'll be right back.
Band directors, have you ever found yourselves in this situation? Showtime is quickly approaching. Your budget is quickly disappearing. Your music choices are narrowing. The equipment condition is wearing and your stress level is mounting. Stop what you're doing and contact Block Band Music and find out how we've got you. Check www.blockbandmusic.com, providing music, equipment, gear, and accessories to show style, core style, and traditional bands worldwide.
The source for fair and factual information on your favorite college bands, blockusup.com. Well-written articles, in-depth band performance analysis, helpful resources for band directors, fun band-related topics, and exclusive interviews with some of today's brightest and most talented leaders of college marching bands. Visit us at blockusup.com, the meeting place for band fans and band directors.
Hello, everyone. This is Joe Beard from the Marching Podcast. Is your school, club, or organization looking for high-quality decorated apparel to outfit your students, staff, club, or team? Tired of the same old boring white t-shirt? Are you in charge of the upcoming fundraiser or special event but don't really have time to troll the internet for ideas or compare products? SAY can help with design and product selection. We can even assist with ideas on conducting an effective fundraising program. SAY can help you save time and get your message heard. So call 1-800-975-3156. SAY Marketing and Promotions.
Give your brand a voice.
If you're thinking about buying or selling real estate in the Southern California area, please contact Kevin Peete of RE/MAX Patriots. He will meet and exceed all of your needs. You can contact Kevin at 951-858-5942. That's 951-858-5942. Or you can email Kevin at kpsaleshomes@sbcglobal.net. That's KP, his initials, Kevin Peete, KP Sales Homes, all one word, at sbcglobal.net. Thanks again.
Hello, this is Emmanuel Powell, one of the 2015 Marching Podcast Scholarship recipients and 2016 Jackson State University Saxophone Section Leader. And you are now listening to the Marching Podcast Radio Network.
Hello, my name is Kellen J. Christian. I am the Director of Bands at Oak Haven High School in Memphis, Tennessee. I'm also the Assistant Director of Talladega College in Talladega, Alabama. I'm a native of Chicago, Illinois. I'm a 2007 graduate of the University of Arkansas at Pine Bluff. M4, baby. Swag, stand up. And you are listening to the Marching Podcast Radio Network.
Hello, this is James Barnett, California educator, graduate of Cal State University, Long Beach, Chi Beta Chapter, Spring 98, Q Sci-Fi, and you are listening to the Marching Podcast Radio Network.
All right, we're back. You can go ahead and unmute your microphones. Again, the 2021 Director Series Podcast, Diary of a Mad Band Director. All right, so let's go ahead and get into it. So now you done finished undergrad, and the phone rang, and they said, hey, this opportunity comes up, and you went ahead and jumped at it because you had broke down to us. You had already, you were early in starting a family.
Yeah, man.
So you went ahead and jumped on an early train, but it's been really good to see how your career has progressed. So I'll get right into it. Chapter 6 is the sowing seeds. Now, I noticed in the book you already had started to this was the first chapter I noticed that things were starting to be numbered. And what I noticed is that um, when you got to this place, you said you had a meeting with your leadership team. Did you already have like a template in place when you got to this school as far as like how you were mapping things out? Did you already have things organized like you are at this point?
Yeah, man. I mean, actually, just thinking about it, most of the time when you're a music major, the students you just really need to pay attention to the system that you falling up under. You know what I'm saying? And that you're raised under. And so we almost have a template. One thing about, and I can talk about Norfolk State, that's where I went. Um, you know, we have it's a system, and it's a strong system of student leadership. You respect those positions, and when they give you a role, and when they hire you to do the role, you got to do your role, and you're held accountable for that. And so, with the different directors, I saw two different styles of approaching how you transition. And one of the things that he did basically was kind of meet with us first. So I did the same thing. He met with us, got a rapport with us. He said, show me what y'all do. You know what I'm saying? Let me
Right.
see what y'all do. And that kind of helped. Like it was like he wasn't just coming in and like slicing everything up. He said, "What do y'all do?" We showed him, and I could tell, he wanted to enhance and change a couple of things, but he respected the culture enough to know that this is it's some things that's about them that need to stay the same. And so that's kind of the system that I learned. I learned that you make sure that your section leaders on board so they can be your mouthpieces.
Right, right, and I think it also it lends a hand, like like you said, I'm not coming up in here to totally change everything or slice everything up.
Right.
You're saying I'm sending a word of friendship or a hand of friendship
Right.
before you get going. So yeah, that was definitely something I wanted to make sure I asked because it's a good plan. Um, Now, you had some early success
Hmm.
at the school. Again, all the breakdowns of the success. Go on, get the book. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But you had some early success. What do you remember about your early success? Because I mean, and it's something you kind of talked about a little bit in the book. You fresh out of school, so
Yeah.
you young in this game, but
Yeah.
you had that right off the bat. You know what I'm saying? You was off the hook.
Yeah.
So, what do you remember about all of those competitions?
Well, I remember failing, in the beginning.
Mm,
That was one of the things that changed me. It was all passion. Of course, I thought I knew what I was doing, but I really was doing what was in me. I wanted to instill the passion that I had into my students. So, I went hard. I was I was young and energetic, and
right,
I think that's good to start with, man. Like start with that pure passion of just wanting to be great. And I got to my competition actually at my alma mater, man, and they sliced me up. I
oh
mean, they
wow,
sliced me up. We got one trophy. It was fourth place dancers.
oh wow,
I'll never forget it, and I still have the participation plaque in my office to this day. It just reminds me of what I'm saying, of that
right,
time. I kept that because that was the first thing. We got that participation plaque and we got that fourth place dances, and I was like, yo, this will never ever happen again. The school wanted to change over from core style to traditional, and I merged the styles a little bit, but we got a 32 in marching.
wow,
I'll never forget that. At that competition, we got a 32. And so I was like, man, this will never happen again. And we went back, we looked at those sheets, and it was some comments that I thought that I needed to adhere to. We made a few switches around, and after that, we just went in and we just won ever since. I mean, we just won. We just kept winning.
right,
Just
right.
kept winning.
That's pretty dope, man. Like you said, I mean, and I guess it's essentially a lot about your book too.
Yeah.
Like you said, you had some failures, but then how you respond, and how you come
Yeah,
back to it. So I mean, it was a common theme of this book.
yeah,
So,
man.
so yeah, it's something I definitely noticed. So then, as far as failing, which is like the perfect segue to the next question I had,
Hmm.
you listed some mistakes in chapter 6. You had a
Hmm.
bus incident.
Oh,
And
oh.
yeah, so you had a bus incident.
Yeah.
And so there's a couple things. There's a couple things happening in
Bus,
this
isn't
chapter. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
it?
So I do want to ask you, as far as the bus incident go, how stressed out were you? Like, what were you feeling at this time, and what do you remember about the bus incident?
All right. So we had just had some success at the competition, and you know, my school was maybe an hour and 15 minutes from the competition site.
Mm-hmm.
I remember that. And you talking about stress, you think about something happens to one bus and they break all your kids up and put them at all the different hospitals across one city. They was at 6 different hospitals. Took every student. Then we didn't know who went to what hospital.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you got to remember, I'm 24, 25 years old. I'm not, I'm like, I didn't think about all that
Right.
at that time, and then we had to get into the insurance. We had to get into just so much liability. I got home probably 1 in the morning because, first of all, we had to figure out what kid was at what hospital so we
Oh.
can tell the parents where to go.
Oh wow.
You know what I'm saying? So you talking about stress.
Right.
Stress, man, it was a disaster, bro. Disaster. And so, I'm glad the parents stuck in there with me after
Right.
that. But
Right.
it was like, man, where is my kid? They calling, where is my kid? I don't know where your kid
Oh.
is. Hold on, give me a minute. So we having to look at a roster of 150 kids and figure out which hospital they are at. It
Wow.
was crazy. So yeah, imagine that, man. Imagine if you got 4 kids that's around the city somewhere.
Right.
You know what I
Right.
mean? That,
Right.
not to mention 100 and something. It was crazy.
Yeah. And then another thing that you had mentioned too in the book was like cell phones wasn't like that.
No.
Like it is now. So
Yeah.
maybe that could, I mean, it still would have been stressful, but
Yeah. But the students didn't have them. The students didn't really have them like that.
right.
Um, I think I had one. I was right out of the pager time, and I had a cell phone. But if nobody else had one, it didn't really matter.
Right. Right.
So yeah, man, it was wild. It was wild.
Yeah, I bet. And then you talked about, again, you had a failure, and then you talked about in the book how, like, what you learned from it.
Yeah.
So then you then talked about how you came back, and then you later on talked about in a conversation, if you will, with the principal of the school. And right, so again, and I don't want to pull too much exactly
Yeah.
out of what you did with the bus, but
Hmm.
because I do want people to check out like what you did, because again, this is something for all band directors. They should have this book. So I want to make sure that they not just watching this. I definitely want them to buy the copy and see what you did as far as the bus situation.
Yeah.
But then, and the next incident, you had a discussion with the principal of the school.
Hmm.
I want to ask you, because basically the principal, he felt a certain type of way. Let's just say that. Do you think there was something you could have done differently?
In that
Uh,
situation,
yeah, in that situation.
man, I mean, sometimes you just don't know until you know.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I can't say. I think there's some things that if I would have had this book, yeah, I would have known to do. I would have known to do something differently. But you thinking you have everything together, and you got parent volunteers, and you got all these people, and you got to make sure that your volunteers know the policies as well. You know what I'm saying? So if they don't know the policies, they're just doing what they think is right, and when it all falls down, it really falls back on you. So it's really your fault at the end of the day. It's gonna end up being your fault. So you gotta make sure you keep your situation tight, control what you can control.
Right.
You can't control, whatever's gonna happen on the outside, but you can control how you run your operation. You know what I'm saying? So that was one of the biggest lessons in liability and all that stuff. Those things that you need to know about band. It's not just playing your instrument. You're in charge of lives.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And you got to make sure their safety is priority.
Right. Um. I want to ask you also too, because you then had a lot of success, but then you still felt like you wanted to be challenged. That's what I took from this chapter.
Yeah, I mean,
Um.
to think about it, man. Some of the high school directors that might be on here, it was a competition called nationals. It was high. It's called high stepping nationals now, I think. But back then, it was the national high stepping competition or something like that.
Mhm.
And my band won the first one. It was actually in Charlotte. And so to be in your second year teaching and you win the national competition against 50 other bands with legends as the adjudicators, William P. Foster, Dr. Foster, and Mr. Fears, and Donovan Wells, and you know what I'm saying, all these big names
Wow.
on my judge tape, like that's kind of a little bit that kind of boosts you up a little bit when you have legends saying, you doing a good job, or one of my one of the people that I revere, like Mr. Fears, said, "Man, you sure I didn't teach you?" He said this on the tape, and I'm like, man, just hearing all this, I'm like, all right, well, I'm ready to go. Not knowing the other stuff, that you have to face when you move from public schools to the collegiate level. But I felt like I was ready. You
Mhm.
know, I felt like it. But yeah, man, that competition coming out the gate and just and winning that competition kind of gave me the confidence that I could do pretty much anything. Because we were playing, we had what I would say took down back then. I 50 other bands. You know what I'm saying? And
Right.
so I was a little excited about that. I was got a little cockiness behind me too.
Right. Right. That actually worked out because that's one of the pictures that you sent and we're showing today on the slideshow. The 2002, I think it said High Steppers
Mhm.
competition, and showing you with the trophy and your staff and everything.
Yeah.
Um. So, with that being said, do you think that you went out to look for a collegiate job too early? Like, I guess if you, like you said, not knowing everything, but you were ready to get out, do you think that it was the right decision to then try to look for a new job right when you did?
Um, the right decision.
You think like you would have
Uh,
stayed around a couple more years before you tried to go out? Cause I see that you wanted to be a college band director.
yeah. I say this, Joe, man. I didn't know that was going. When I look back, that was one of the best jobs I ever had. Like that was a great situation. It was a great community. We had hardworking kids. We didn't really hurt for a lot of resources. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And we had a great feeder that had two band directors at the feeder. Like, if you tell directors this type of stuff, it's like, man, why did you don't think about it. You don't really think about it back then. You just know that you just left college and you got that ambition. You want to be like your mentor. You want to be on that level. That's what you think.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm trying to be at the table with those guys. And I was on a fast track, man. I only did 6 years of public school. That's it. And the rest in college.
Right. So that makes sense. And then Real quick, to wrap up the end of chapter 6, you in your next opportunity, um, you were able to pursue your master's. Is that correct? So
Mm-hmm.
like the next, so not at this current job that you were in, but the next opportunity you had, you got to obtain your master's. So you were like working during the day and then like doing your school work at night. Is that correct?
Yeah, I was working during the day, but I had a sweet situation. Because I was really at a really tough school, and man, I was at a rough school. But it helped me learn, go back to my secondary instruments. Because when you're trying to teach somebody, you got to make sure you know what you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
You know, even though at the high school level, the kids know a little bit more. You know what I'm saying? So you may have to show them a few fingerings and different trills and different things like that. But when you teaching somebody from scratch, you got to know what you're doing.
Mm.
So I went back and got those middle school, that beginning band skills. Those one the best teachers right there to me. The elementary, middle school teachers, they got to know. They got to keep the kids engaged, and they got to know from A to Z what you got to do with your instrument. And starting from how you line up to walk in the classroom to take the instrument out. And you know what I'm saying? You got to know all that stuff. So I actually got tight on those things while I was getting my master's. So during the day, yeah, I had a few classes open, so I do my homework at work.
Right, right.
You know what I'm saying? During my planning period, I was grinding that homework out. And I got done, man. I did 1 year, and then they tapped me to be the assistant band director at the college. So at that point, I was teaching middle school during the day, going to school and teaching. You know, being the assistant band director at the local college at night. So I was doing all that stuff at the same time.
What do you remember most about that time? Do you have a good memory from that time? Because what's really cool about what you said, you had like a sweet opportunity. Like you had like, about three things going on, but you had
Yeah.
space and time to get one thing done or the other. Do you have like a special memory or something that you remember from that time?
Um, just being so happy, man. I remember when I finally got the contract, like that I was gonna be the head director. And I remember me and my wife was in the car, and it boosted my check up a little bit.
There you go.
Uh, and so when I saw that, I was like, oh snap, I'm in the game. It still wasn't that much. Now looking back at it, it was like, yo, really? Um, but yeah, when I got put in the game that day, man, I thought it was like, yo, I'm never leaving this school. They're gonna have to make a statue out of me. They might as well make a statue out of me
Right.
because I'm not leaving. This is it. I'm back where I started. Like I started. I mean, how can that? You know what I mean? That
Mhm.
you don't really get those opportunities, too often. You don't go back to where you started. So I'm glad that my first experience, as an undergrad, in my undergrad, even though I transferred, was, I didn't burn bridges,
Right.
you know. And I appreciate those alums because they were some of the people that was pushing for me to get in there.
Hmm.
And some of the people I marched with was pushing for me to get in there 10 years later.
Right.
Just 10 years later. And that was dope, man. And so I appreciate getting that's what I remember mostly. That first day, man. And I remember the last day.
Right.
That's, I remember the first day and the last day, boy.
That also worked out too because we got a slideshow the picture of your staff there. I saw
Yeah,
Sammy on there, and Frankie.
yeah,
So I remember we chopped it up with Frankie, and I
yeah.
think y'all was calling him Friday. Is that what y'all call him?
No.
Somebody you call Friday, and I can't remember. I don't want to get too off track, but I remember I thought that was funny.
Yeah,
Y'all was calling somebody Friday, but y'all all called in and supported Frankie when we did the interview with him.
yeah.
Uh, so shout out to the people in the chat room and give y'all a round of applause.
Appreciate y'all.
I see Brother Key in there from the Great Central State University. We talked to him. Uh,
My man, Ramon Key.
yeah, he's a
Yeah,
good dude.
Yeah.
I met him in person. Well, I waved at him. I wasn't able to get to him, but he came out here to California to be a judge for a high school band competition. So I was able to kind of
Yeah.
like wave to him, and that's where I met him and kept in contact with him over these years. That's been a minute ago now.
Yeah.
Oscar Wright is on there.
Yeah.
Let me see here. Faisha Cousins.
Yeah. That's my record sister.
Okay, all
Yeah.
right. Of course, the great Lamik's videos. Shout out to you. Warren Shaw is on there. So again, shout out to the people in the chat room supporting. So let's see here. So yeah, I think that was where you were at the end of chapter 6, sowing the seeds, if you will. You went out, had the first job opportunity, had a lot of success, and then the opportunity came back to where you were able to go to undergrad, where we met, and
Yeah.
became the head band director there. And like you said, you remember the first day and the last day.
Yes, sir. Those are the
Uh,
most impactful.
yeah.
Yeah.
So you went into it in the book. So now we at chapter 7, and that's sprouting because after you're sowing the seeds are starting to come out.
Yeah.
And you had some challenges in your new school that you were teaching. You talked about the reading levels of some of the students, breaking up fights in the hallway, and you kind of alluded to it a little bit. It was a rough school. One thing that I did think that was funny was that cursing was not a punishable offense.
Oh nah.
Oh man,
Nah. They told us that in the faculty meeting.
Woo!
We were like, so this dude gonna curse at me and I can't do anything.
Right.
Like, yeah, I had some little dudes come up to me, man, and try me. Like little middle school kids, man. Try me, man. They about tall as my right at my chest, man. They was going hard, man, and I got so upset one day, man. I had to just pull over on the side of the highway and pray, bro.
Wow.
Because I was so shook up. I was so mad that I couldn't slam this dude,
Right.
somebody kid. You know what I mean? But it took me there. It took me all the way there, like So yeah, God bless the great middle school teachers, man, for real.
Right.
Like, y'all special.
Right. I heard
Yeah.
my mother say, and I'm sure a lot of folks say, that's when they start smelling themselves.
They smell like something too.
Right.
They do. Middle school is a real interesting smelling place.
Right.
But yeah, it's some things are for people and some things are not. But I did learn a lot from that situation. They were rough though, man. They were rough, and it's crazy because I got kids that came out of that middle school that end up going to Howard, being a drum major and all that, man. Like, just different schools, and it was just exciting to see them later in life, and they car better than mine. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And they was just some of those kids that gave me hell, complete hell.
Right.
Seriously.
Yeah, because I guess we all grow up sometimes, and
Yeah.
I guess that's part of your testimony at the end of the day. You know what I'm saying?
man.
But hey, man, you get that stuff back though.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You do that hell to teachers, and you turn around and you get that stuff back. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
you do.
Yeah.
You do.
So that's what's up. I had to ask you about that when you saw that, or when I read that, I was like, oh man, I gotta ask you about that.
Yeah, that was
So then, like you said, you having success here, but then you get offered another job, and realize that the band is the university's band. I thought that was real powerful. The band is the university's band. It's not yours. What do you most remember about that experience? And if you want to kind of paint the picture for the listening audience as far as what happened, because like you said, you remember the first day and you remember the last day. But you get another opportunity from that.
Yeah.
So yeah, I wanted to ask you what you remembered from that experience or the feelings that you had when all of that stuff was going on.
Yeah. Well, I had a few years under my belt. I had my high school experience. I had my middle school experience, and I had ties to the university, and all that. And so it was so much pride that went into it. I thought I knew everything to do. All I got to do, I got a template for it now. You know what I'm saying? So I
Mm-hmm.
went in there, and we had a lot of success. Like we really really went hard. We brought back some traditions that I thought that worked, and we enhanced some things, and we were going good. The problem was sometimes when you get different administrators that don't see, um, don't have the same vision. When your visions don't align, and you have to realize they're the boss.
Right.
So when you go in, you got to make sure you finding out what the mission of that school is and how your group fits within that mission. You know what I'm saying? Not have your own mission.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? You can have your own goals, but you got to figure out and write your proposals. Look at what the strategic plan of the school is, and write your goals, align those with those. My goals were to grow. You know what I'm saying? My
Right.
my goal was to be one of the best groups. But at that time, after the transition of new administrators, that administrator vision wasn't to focus on band being anything but whatever he wanted it to be when he needed it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And I wasn't ready to I wasn't there yet. I was ready to go. You know what I'm saying? I was ready to. I just didn't understand it. I couldn't get it. I couldn't get it. It was my band in my brain. Like, yo, help me get my band straight.
Right.
For what I need, help me. Well, they don't want that.
Mm.
So what you supposed to do? You know what I'm saying? So you gotta be strategic. You gotta stop playing checkers out here. You gotta play chess. You gotta get in. You gotta take some people to lunch. You gotta build relationships. You just gotta do it. And those are the things that I didn't want to do. As soon as we got out to the wrong, on the wrong foot, it was pretty much over from
Right.
that point. I think he knew the entire time he wasn't going to renew my contract. You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
I think he knew it. Because he waited until 2 weeks after graduation to call me in.
Wow.
The students thought they was getting ready to go home and get ready to come back from camp, and we was gonna double in size again. But that's what we did.
Right.
They was ready, and got that call in 2 weeks. I made some mistakes. I did, so it wasn't all personal, but you gotta make sure your vision aligns with the person that actually signs your check.
Yeah, and that's a good word. Again, you talked about a little bit more in detail, kind of what happened with. But I ain't gonna lie, man. That dude had an interesting, because he's not there anymore. But he
Nah.
had an interesting time there. You know what I'm saying? Like, I guess
Yeah,
interesting is the best word that I could use.
yeah, yeah,
So you know what I'm saying? I guess I just always, that was something that kind of was new to me, because our band director, when we were at that school, I heard him complain a lot about stuff,
yeah, bro.
and I didn't
Yeah,
know. Like, I mean, I guess I was young, but I didn't really know that. But that's why the part when I said you talked about it's the university's band, that really
yeah,
came clear to me, especially in this chapter when you kind of was breaking down what was going on.
yeah.
Um,
And the interesting thing about him, the same administrator that he caught hell with gave me the world.
hmm
You get what I'm saying? So it's all about timing. It's about a whole lot of things that just gotta align. And and that's the crazy part about it. Sometimes you can get these jobs and you had a worse situation, and then you get the next person get a job and they get the world.
Right.
You know what I mean? So you just never know, man. But you still gotta align your your goals with the mission of the entire school, not just have your own thing going on.
Right. Right. And that's like I said, that was like, oh, okay, that makes sense, Cause I just didn't think it was like that. You know what I'm saying? I thought it was like you say you get in there and then like you the show and we just here to promote because I'm thinking that everybody on the same page as far as putting the university out there. But like you say, it's not like that.
Yeah, but it depends on the programs they want to promote. You know what I mean?
Right,
So
right,
it might be STEM. That might be the area. You know what
right.
I'm saying? It might be something else. And then when that becomes the area, you better figure out how you're gonna do a STEM show. You know what I'm saying? you better figure something else out if you're gonna be in the conversation. Because if you're not, you know, if you're not contributing to where they want to go, yeah,
They're not trying to hear it.
head against the wall. Yeah.
Right, right. So that's what's up, man. That's what's up, man. So that was the end of sprouting in chapter 7. We move on to chapter 8. And then I want to talk to you about chapter 8 and then do our second commercial break, and then we'll come back and talk about 9 and 10. In chapter 8, again, you alluded to already the last day. So you titled chapter 8 "Uprooted: The Final Letter to the Band." And what tripped me out is I start reading and it was like, "Dear so and so." I was like, "What? Like what's going on?" Like he actually put, was that the actual letter you sent?
Yeah, that's the exact letter.
Wow.
That's the exact letter. That letter, let me tell you, I sent that letter. Somebody got the letter. They actually put my letter on the fifth quarter.
Oh wow, really?
Yeah, they put my letter on the fifth quarter, and they had all these comments, and people were going like, "Oh man, that's messed up." Like, yeah, my letter. They took my letter, put it on the fifth quarter, man, and like, so it was big news. That May of 2009 was. I think I had the airways for about 2 weeks. Maybe not that long, but you know what I'm saying. I was trending in the band world.
Right.
Yeah, in the chat rooms.
Right. Because that was something, shout out to Christy. That was where you had to. That was where we had to go.
Yep.
And nowadays, man, it's hella band programs now.
Yeah.
Out. So yeah, shout out to you though. But again, like
always been supportive.
Yeah, man. Like I said, you guys make sure you get the book. Because the fifth quarter's down now, so you can't go in there and check it out. But it's in the book. And you're basically recapping your experience at the university.
Mm-hmm.
And then, of course, that was what I had actually. That's the actual letter. It seems like a repeat of what, and I think I said this already, like the our director was going through that I in that letter. What would you remember? What do you remember most from your time there? Like, do you have a good experience? Because I already know, like, I guess the worst and like what you went through, all the drama that you went through there. Do you have a good experience or a memorable experience from your time there?
I have many, man. I think one of the best, most exciting things that happened was when I got to take that band up to my alma mater. And remember that Battle Fest? Remember Battle Fest?
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, so actually taking them and having, now I'm back with my college band, playing on the field that I marched on in college, So it was dope. Like, that was like a personal one for me. But I guess another good one was just the students was just happy, just revitalizing the program. Had kind of like they lost the soul.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like it was like they just, yeah, we just gonna play. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It was like I got the dead band practice, and just getting them to have pride in themselves again, and the alums happy, and you know what I mean? Everybody smiling and seeing that the band program was going in a direction that everybody could be proud of again. You know what I'm saying? So that was something that I felt really good about.
And let me further pat you on the back because I remember a certain experience. Well, first I remember the person you got there. It wasn't our director. It was a younger guy from FAM, wasn't it? He played like trombone or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he was in and out of there kind of fast. Then you came in there, and I have to give you props on this. You actually, what I remember, because I remember I came down to Charlotte for something, and this was after I had finished school. You had a band banquet, which I thought was really cool. I think that we had one in '96 that I remember. I mean, '96, man. That started to be a haze.
Yeah.
But I remember
Wow.
you had one. You had a band banquet too. Isn't that correct?
We had, I think it was, they called it the Bam Ball. I think Tommy the City.
Yeah, that's what it was.
Yeah, they brought that back, and that was cool. Yeah.
Yeah. So I wanted to give you props on that because I thought that was cool, that you did that. But like you said, trying to build that alumni support, because that alumni support, that's also another thing. And it's also something else that you get into later on in the book. But that's also another aspect that's important at that collegiate level, is having that alumni support and then having folks continue to give back to the program and coming back supporting the program. Emotional support, or just, sharing their experience with the current band members.
Yeah.
I thought that was really cool that you did that. You work with the other alumni. And then at home, I think it was around homecoming too, you also had the alumni band. I remember that as well. So I thought, like I said, I thought you did a good job. I was excited to see you in that position because, like you said, we were both there. And I was like, damn, I was like, wow, like he the head band director. Like, I was like, damn, like, you know what I'm saying?
Young and crazy. Young and, I thought I did say. Ooh, crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's all good. And then, you then, oh, you know what? I had another experience. I took a note on. It was performing at the Barack Obama rally. Are you guys wanting to perform at that rally?
Oh yeah. Yeah, man. And that man said, I don't care if Jesus Christ wants you to play, he better be playing. That's what the administrator told me.
Woo!
What?
Right.
You know what? It might maybe that's a sign it's my time to go.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, golly. He said that, I was like, this is crazy.
Yeah, and I had took that down. That was another one of the quotes that had jumped out at me. And I was thinking like, was he white? And I was like, no, he's not white. So that took me back. Like, damn, I can't believe he said that. But yeah, I think that rolled out where it was like, okay, it's probably time for you to roll out. Those are the two experiences. I had just thought of the other one about the band ball, but then the other one about what he said to you, that was the other note I had took for chapter 8 in the book. So yeah, that's crazy. But then chapter 9, and then I'm gonna go to our second commercial break real quick. You go from barren to beautiful, and that's your chapter 9. Let's go ahead and take the second and our last commercial break, and then I want to talk to you about 9 and 10. We're doing pretty decent with the time.
All right.
And then that would wrap up part A of the book. And then next week we'll go through again chapters 1 through 5 with part B, and then in our last episode 4, we'll do chapters 5 through 10 in part B, and then part C is like your acknowledgments. You kind of wrapping everything up, putting a bow on everything.
Right.
So we'll do that in chapter 4. But let's go ahead and pay these bills, as they say. The 2021 Director Series Podcast, Diary of a Mad Band Director with T.D. Hollins. We'll be right back and talking about chapters 9 and 10.
You want the best barbecue around? Smokey-O's coming to your town. Ribs, chopped beef, baked potatoes too. Smokey-O's know what's good for you. You want the best barbecue around? Smokey-O's coming to your town. Ribs, chopped beef, baked potatoes too. Smokey-O's know what's good for you. Smokey-O's, come check us out.
All right, this next sponsor is a live read, providing online and one-on-one instruction for high school and college students in algebra, geometry, trigonometry, calculus, physics, and chemistry. Visit Math-Sci-Tutor.com. That's Math-Sci-Tutor.com and schedule a session, or contact Michael Okoro at Michael@Math-Sci-Tutor.com, especially during this time when there's a lot of distance learning or at-home learning and your students are taking these advanced classes. This is the person to contact to help them get through all that they need. So again, providing high school and college students in algebra, geometry, trigonometry, calculus, physics, and chemistry. Math-Sci-Tutor.com or schedule a session, or contact Michael Okoro at Michael@Math-Sci-Tutor.com. All right, and this next sponsor here is the great Sofia's Barbecue and Fish. Make sure you give them a call at 951-445-6696. You can also order from them and have it delivered to you from Grubhub, Grubhub.com, Seamless.com, and Postmates.com. Shout out to the good frat brother Marshall Dixon out of the St. Louis area, out here in Southern California, providing the good St. Louis style barbecue eats and vittles for all the people out here in Southern California. They're located in Riverside, California at March Air Force Base. So go ahead and contact Sofia's Barbecue and Fish, 951-445-6696. Or you can order from Grubhub.com, Seamless.com, or Postmates.com. Another live read here is the one and only Bull City Music School. Bull City Music School is the modern approach to music. Enroll today and experience one of their virtual classes, and I can say that they are doing a really good job. My daughter is a student at Bull City Music School learning the piano, and her teacher, Janetta Powell Hopkins, is doing an outstanding job. Contact Bull City Music School at 919-423-5701, or you can go to their website at bullcitymusicschool.com. That's all one word, bullcitymusicschool.com. Bull City Music School, the modern approach to music. And our last sponsor here is, again, the video, the great Lamik's video. Lamik's, I'm probably going to have to go through. You might have to send me another one because I think with the file transfer, something happened to the video, but you guys are seeing a blank screen. To pay homage to the one and only Lamik's videos, you can go on YouTube and subscribe to him today. The largest archive of HBCU marching band videos. They also have iPod and AirPod giveaways and other manufactured goods. So you guys contact one and only Lamik's videos on YouTube and subscribe to him today.
Hello, this is Tamisha Brock, Practice 2 consultant and a graduate of Virginia State University and Norfolk State University, and you're listening to the Marching Podcast Radio Network.
Hey, this is Kitty, and you're listening to the Marching Podcast. Hi, this is Nessa. You're the Marching Podcast.
Hello, my name is Kellen J. Christian. I am the Director of Bands at Oak Haven High School in Memphis, Tennessee. I'm also the assistant director of Talladega College in Talladega, Alabama. I'm a native of Chicago, Illinois. I'm a 2007 graduate of the University of Arkansas at Pine Bluff. M4, baby. Swag, stand up. And you are listening to the Marching Podcast Radio Network.
All right, you can unmute your microphones, and we're back here talking to Director Hollins of North Carolina Central University. All right, so let me get right into it then. We at Chapter 9, From Barren to Beautiful. All right. You then get another opportunity in the same state.
Yep.
Now, how you got this opportunity, again, you alluded to about, again, one of the presidents that you had reaching out and giving you the opportunity. I thought that was really cool because I didn't know how that happened. Because I remember you at one spot and then you were quickly at another one. But then you then in the book explain how that happened. So I thought that was really cool. And like you said, you work well with this particular admin. And then, of course, she's able to get on the phone and reach out to you for this new opportunity. So I thought that was great that happened.
Yeah.
So it's in the same state. So, you know what I'm saying? I ain't necessarily saying I'm not giving it away, but it's in the same state. And the program is actually smaller than the one that you left. Someone told you, and I thought this is another powerful statement. Someone then told you it didn't matter. Treat them like they were big.
Mm-hmm.
And then you walked in there and you said it was about 11 win players. Yeah. So, again, you have a challenge in front of you. What do you remember about first stepping into that situation?
All right, so I gotta back up a little bit because I have to acknowledge the band director that was there before me. He had passed away,
Okay.
and we were actually playing them that day in the basketball tournament.
Oh, wow.
And he passed away. And their students called me on the phone asking to borrow some sticks, and then they told me our band director passed away, but we still gonna do the game. I'm like, what?
Wow.
Like it was crazy. I didn't think I was gonna be there the next year, but it's ironic how that happened. So the band director passed away. Those calls started happening because there was actually some people that left the first school to go to that school as well. That was that knew me as the band director. They were in the athletic department, and so it was like, yo, he's available. You know what I mean? So it kind of worked out in my favor. But though I knew the band program was young and I knew it was going to be small, I didn't know it was going to be that. So, just to give you visual representation, it was like, all right, I called every student. I usually do that every band program I get. I actually get on the phone and call every student. Mm-hmm. And the list was short. But I called every student. And, you never know. A band director usually never knows in college who's actually coming until you see them there.
Right.
There is kids that'll talk to you all the way to the day before, and then they don't show up.
Wow.
You know what I mean?
Right.
So, I came out there. I had my section leaders up there again, and the rest of the band came in like group, like they all walked in together. It was a short group, and sitting down. I came out the storage room and it was like, oh my God, because I just had a room full of kids. Mm-hmm. So this is what I did. I saw them. It had to be about 15 people. I was like. I walked out like that, right? I walked out, went back in the storage room, and was like, dog. Like, I was like, man. So I came back and was like, you know what? Let's work. You know what I'm saying? Like,
right.
They're here. That means they want to be here. Or, I got to give them, I got to give them something.
Right.
I got to make something work.
Right.
You know what I mean? And so we worked it, man. Like, all the skill set that I had to actually make things happen, I had to kind of scale everything down.
Mm-hmm.
But sometimes you got to do that. You got to adjust to your situation. That the good thing about that school, man, they didn't have a band before, so anything I did was awesome,
Right.
like amazing. Like in the beginning, like it was amazing. So it was like we just started, man, and we started building slowly, and it ended up working out.
And that's really cool. And again, it's just how your higher power, the universe, a guy, however you want to say how it all works. Because in a sense, you were already kind of with everything you had said and stated in the book, you were prepared for it. You know what I'm saying? That's what I always felt about reading this particular publication. It's like all the stuff that you had been through. It seemed like it's preparing you for the next thing. Because it seemed like you had a
Right.
challenge everywhere you go.
Oh yeah.
Like even the smooth transition where you go to the high school and win the awards, you dealing with the principal.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You dealing with something along the way. So that's
Yeah.
that's where like I start to understand like the mad band director. Cause I mean
Right.
you could have been like you could have handled it differently, brother. Just let me commend you for that. You know what I'm saying? You could have been mean or like you could have done something ignorant. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? But you didn't. And like you said, let's go ahead and go to work at your current position. I do want to ask you in chapter 9, a certain press release came out about you taking the position. What do you remember about that press release? And I guess your feelings toward it. Did it fuel you to do better? I mean, were you mad? Like, what was going on with that particular press release that they put out?
Hold on. I gotta remember what you're talking about right here.
Uh,
Which,
they
which
described it as a hornet's nest.
oh Lord,
He said, "Oh Lord."
man, you know that whole situation was really crazy. Um, just when you lose a director that's in position for so long and people love them and all that stuff, um, you're gonna have those. You're gonna have things like this could happen.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the band program got national news. They were a great band program, and they got all this accolades, and so anytime you take over a brand program like that, then the news, the media outlets gonna jump on it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and they jumped on it. I mean, I remember they was calling my office. I'm still at the previous job. The
Wow.
news calling my office trying to get me to say something. Um, I had to go up on the campus to drop something off. They didn't know what I looked like. That was the good thing. But the
Wow.
news was out there, just waiting beside the band room, trying to see, trying to catch somebody to talk to.
Mm-hmm.
And like it was just media all over the place, and I mean, I'm running, I'm trying to hide from them like the paparazzi. Like, and of course, the band world was going crazy. That we did have cell phones now. We
Right.
got social media, we got all this stuff, and though I'm getting congratulated, also it's also another element that's going on behind the scenes of people that don't want me there. And so it was very, very hard to play that kind of tug of war when all I really wanted to do was just start and build. You know what I mean? Start from where I was and try to make sure this band program could keep going.
Yeah, and again, this is like this is like your second time. Like you trying to build, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it's something that seems like it's always a challenge
Hmm.
that pops up. And then that rolls. It's like the perfect segue. It rolls into chapter 10, which is the last chapter we'll discuss. And again, this is the last chapter of part A. Make sure you guys tune in next week for episode 3 when we go through chapters 1 and 5 of part B. This chapter, the grass ain't always greener. Okay. So now in this particular program, this particular situation where you are, you start filling out the program.
Hmm.
But now, and we talked about interference with the administration and all that. Now you getting it from the students,
Hmm.
and you had some interesting experiences with the students, with the 5-0,
Hmm.
with the parents, uh, like a letter,
Hmm.
folks writing letters on your dog. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? I gotta ask you, and I done already asked you about was this stressful or something like that. What taking you back to that time? What jumps at you the most from that time, and like your feelings going through all of that?
I just couldn't. I was I was kind of in shock for the most part, because in every situation, I'm not gonna call my. Well, I'm gonna say I was kind of. I looked at myself as like the hero. You know what I mean? Like
Okay,
the band program was, kind of in some trouble. I came in, one band program, the band director passed away. The other band program director left abruptly. My first band program, it was, it, the director left and it was just course style and they wanted to switch over. It was always like an opportunity. I looked at it as I'm going to be accepted because the program is in a place where it needs some, you know what I'm saying? It needs some elevation anyway.
right.
And so, that's kind of how I felt. And so going in that feeling like, yo, we just gonna use the same concept of bringing in, I had already, it's tested. You know what I'm saying? I had
Right,
a tested formula,
right,
and that worked. So not understanding that when you on a different level comes a different level of problems.
mm,
You know, and so I took that for granted. I thought I was gonna be held, embraced with open arms because I used to hang with some of these people when I
mm,
was in undergrad,
right,
coming out just hang out and party, and so yeah, that though I had some people that was like, yeah, all right, cool, yeah, but it was another set of people that was on me, man, like all the way that entire first year.
wow.
It was some. I think my mama on here. I can't cut it. They watched me the entire year, and it's things that you can do to people that I wouldn't ever think that would be done to me.
Right,
You know what I'm saying? And so, yeah, man, that was the main thing. Was just I was just in shock, like, man. And then it felt like they was trying to get me to quit. And if you look back at my early chapters, with people trying to bully me in high school and all that, bruh, I don't really take that too kindly. Like you trying to push on me. You know what
right,
I'm saying?
right.
So I had a mentality that if I leave, I'm leaving on my own.
Hmm.
I'm not gonna let somebody push me out of here. So they tried and tried and tried and tried. And the other thing in my brain was, I just gotta you can't dispute success. You know what I'm saying? So let me do what I can do and try to be as good as we can be. And then you got to make a decision on what side you're gonna be on. You know what I mean?
Right,
So, I went through a lot of stuff of just trying to clear my brain and focus back on just the band program and not the other, all the other distractions and all the other obstacles that was been thrown in my way. Again, I said this before. Don't worry about. You got to focus on what you can control.
hmm,
Focus on what you can control. All the other darts that's thrown at you, you can't control those things, but you can control if your operation is tight. You know what I'm saying? So that was like the last straw of me writing this thing.
hmm,
Like I gotta tell somebody to do this, this, and this, so this won't happen, or so that when it happens, you know what? I'm straight because I got this. These are my goals. This is my operation. My junk tight.
Right.
So you can't say I didn't do something because you see page 10, I did that right there.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So that's what it all boiled down to, man. Like, you know, they tried. They tried.
So that leads me into the question then, and I think you kind of answered it there. Is this when you really started writing, things down to help people? But was it also like a form of healing? Because just to paint the picture for the folks that's listening, you were at the school where we met.
Mm-hmm.
And then the president was he was special. Then you had another opportunity in the state where the director passed, and then this opportunity where you're at now. This is just the third school. The director left abruptly, and then you get there, and that's when like things really hit the fan, so to speak. And like you said, you were writing it down so like people know. Was it like a form of healing too?
Man, I didn't write this down to sell it at first, man. Like I was just writing, like when it comes to my personal things, I was writing because I couldn't express it in any other way.
Mm-hmm.
You couldn't really tell anybody about it. I talked to a couple of my mentors and they were like, remember when I said you wasn't ready for this band? This is what I was talking about.
Right.
So they told me all the stuff that they had been going through. But guess what? They didn't tell us before we got jobs.
Right. Right.
So we didn't know. We just thought, you go to college, you put your suit on, you stand up there looking nice, and you conduct, and the band rocking,
right,
and everybody love you. You know what I'm saying? And and that's it. Like you good. So, but they didn't tell you all about the other things that happened between Monday and Friday night.
Mm-hmm.
And then nobody cares because all they want to see is that band ready on Saturday.
Right. Right.
So, that's just the crazy thing. So yeah, I wrote the book just as kind of like a diary, just kind of like just expressing myself. Mm-hmm. And then I went back and said, you know what did I do in that situation? Now let me look back and find the templates of things that I created based on all those obstacles. So everything that you got in there is something that I use with a band program. Forms, itineraries,
yep,
all that stuff is things that you're gonna need. And then the things that I didn't put in there, I just put a list on things that you should look for.
Right.
Try to create, you know what I mean? Like a band handbook and, the policies and all kind of stuff, man. What you should do with recruitment. What should you do every month? What forms do you think you're gonna need every month of a school year? What do you do from the time you get that contract to your first lessons?
Mm-hmm.
That's what it's about. And so when I got to that last point in my career, where it was like, man, I don't know if I want to do this no more.
Mm.
I think this is it for me. Like, let me make sure that the next generation don't have to go through this. They can see it coming.
Right, right. And that's what's, I think that's what's also commendable about this book is that I can think about various things. This is a poem about bridge builder, and the dude go out and he go through all of like the waves and all the trials and tribulation, but he basically builds a bridge, like you said, for the other people to walk across, so they don't have to go through all of the pain and the stuff that he went through. He building a bridge, and that's what I really like about the book. And you kind of say that a little bit in the preface. But essentially, you went through all of this. Okay, bet. Let me help somebody else because I know what it feels like. And that's important to do because a lot of people, they don't share their experiences. You know what I'm saying? They go through all of this and then somebody else is not able to learn. So that's why I said, I really wanted to promote what you doing because in our craft, we got a lot of band directors out there. And even like young folks that want to be band directors, I want to make sure that all of us are reading for one, but I definitely want to make sure that people know about this book and they buy this book. Somebody, I can't remember his name, but someone had reached out to me and they said, man, that's amazing. That book that he wrote, he was like, man, I wish I had something like this earlier, or it needs to be more people that write more books about their experiences or whatever. So hopefully you and Dr. Davenport have started the trend, so folks can start to document what they're doing and helping out the more people in the craft. So,
Yeah, Joe. So many directors hit me up and they say things like, "Man, now I know that I'm not alone."
mm-hmm.
Like, because most of the time we're the only one at the school, especially in high schools and stuff. We're the only one. You can't go in the teachers' lounge and just get with the other band directors. You know what I'm saying? Chop it up.
Right.
It's not that. You going through things. You think you on an island by yourself until you go to a conference or something.
Mm-hmm.
So it was like, dang, I thought I was going crazy, or I was sorry, or I wasn't doing something right. This is kind of things that happen, and so those type of things, whether somebody buys the book or not, when I get those type of comments, that means that I did my job.
Right. Then let me give a round of applause for that. Because yeah, man, I thought that was really cool when this guy, and I can't remember his name, but he was intimidated by a lot of stuff, and he was like, man, he really appreciates that you wrote this book, and so he's like, man, I'm looking for more people to write books and all of that. So hopefully, like he said, it's more directors writing books in the future. And again, another thing as a segue to next week, you put all the forms in there. Another thing that I thought that was pretty dope is you put all the job descriptions in there.
Mm-hmm.
So you just didn't say, hey, look for this person and look for this person. Like look for somebody to do this. Like you like, hey, make sure you get this. And then this is just like you on Indeed.com or JobSeeker.com. It's got everything in there. So you guys make sure, again, you cop that book. And Brother Hollins, he lays it all out. A very structured format. You know what I'm saying? But I think again, telling your experiences first, it really paints the picture. Versus just come out and saying, hey, this is how you be a band director. you know what I'm saying? So that I mean, that's what really makes the book good. Let me go back to my notes. You put that when you think, and then you also alluded to in the first episode last week that you live in your experience now. So you may have another book or another sequel.
Mm-hmm.
Were there any other, and this is the last question I want to ask, and again, if anyone has a question for Director Hollins, let me know in the chat and I'll ask him. I do want to point out, let me see here, let me look, Belinda Thomas, is that your mom?
Yeah.
I think when you said I can't cuss, I think my mom, she put right in there, yes, I am watching and listening. So yeah, mom. You gotta watch what you say.
Hey man, when they got Facebook and the parents got on it, look, my kids blocked me from all my stuff, so like now I know why.
Right. That's what's up, man. So, as we land part A, was there some other bad things or anything else? And I think you pretty much said it, but was there anything else that helped you write the book? Was there any other experiences that you kept out? And you don't have to tell me what they are, but did you keep some experiences out of the book? For whatever reason, like were there more bad things that happened to you along the way?
Of course, man, but I wanted to really highlight the things that logistically could get you to lose your job for real.
Oh, okay.
You know what I'm saying? So your musical talent and all that stuff is gonna get you in the door, but all the stuff in this book is what's gonna keep you in the door. So you might be the greatest uh, clarinet player and teacher, musician, composer, and all this other stuff, but if you can't, you don't know how to, supervise your students. You don't know how to manage your funds and keep appropriate relationships and all that stuff. You out of there.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? You out of there. So I'm trying to lay this out and give you some of the things that you're gonna need to keep you in the door. You know, so yeah, of course, a lot of other stuff happened. Whole lot of other stuff. And my staff members probably on here laughing, especially the people that was with me at the time, because they remember some things and some headaches and things we had to laugh and be frustrated about. But the things that I put in there, yeah, make sure you tight. I seen a lot of legendary band directors be out the door.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? Everybody loves them. Your favorite bands, they out the door because of these logistical things.
Wow.
So get the book.
Yeah, shout out to him. Give you a round of applause. One of the pictures that we showed, and I think it tied in good, was the one of the director symposiums. And you look at that book, you see a lot of directors in the craft. I know. I think that's another cool part about HBCUs is either we went to school with each other, we know what school someone else went to, and then now at this level, you actually see like the actual directors in their craft, and then everyone helping each other.
Yeah, man, it's a big family tree. I'm honored to be the age. Actually, I was the young one of the younger guys. It was a point where my colleagues were the people I was hanging with was 60 plus.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I was the only one, in their late 20s, and you know, but it was great because I got to sit in the room with those guys and learn some things and let them, they love to talk. They love to give you the knowledge and they love to pass it on. So to sit in the room with, your Harold Halton and, and he explained how he does drills or how to get a clarinet in tune properly. You know what I'm saying? Just those things, just those experiences being young enough, but old enough to sit at the table with these guys was an honor that I'll never forget, man. I'll never forget this. And so yeah, we're all extensions of the OGs, and it's
Right.
been a big change of the guard, and it's still happening right now. Now I'm getting up there,
Right.
and a lot of younger guys are coming up, and they doing a great job, man. Like it's awesome to see just the descendants of some of the OGs do their thing. Like it's amazing.
Yeah. Yeah, man. I think that's the dopest part in education is, and you know what's crazy is that I didn't really recognize it, but the time goes by kind of fast. To say, let's say for instance, I'm just bringing up his real name because we know him, Mr. Adams.
Mm-hmm.
You on the same level, Mr. Adams, like, and then y'all label. I was like, I mean, that's just a little. He was our director, you know what I'm saying? Or I saw Taylor Whitehead on that photo, and I'm just like, wow, it's like now we, like you said, we old now, like we in our 40s now. You know what I'm saying? That's like a trip to me.
And yeah, man, and it's so cool, and a lot of things that I want to make sure these kids understand. We friends.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like we could battle it out back in the day, but we chilling after we take those uniforms off. Like it's not. We don't want to fight you.
Right.
For real. You know what I'm saying? So I just hope that the younger directors get that understanding too, man. You colleagues, we got a lot to learn from each other, and don't, because you look at the other side, the other schools, they work together, man.
Right.
It's no reason why I'm a low brass person. I shouldn't be able to go down to like a Winston-Salem or, down the street, you know what I'm saying? Or even to my rival A&T. And we doing, exchange rehearsals with our directors. It's crazy that that stuff doesn't happen because we all have something to learn and something to gain from each other. And so I'm looking for the next generation to do a lot more collaborative things, man, because man, it's wide open and it's about the students. So once we come together, man, ain't nobody. I mean, we untouchable. We got too much talent in our programs, and we got too much talent on our staffs not to work together and push the craft forward. And I'm looking forward to seeing it.
All right, and give you a round of applause for that. So we come to the end of episode 2, and again, I appreciate all the support. We had a good number of folks here in the chat room commenting and saying things. Is there anything that you want to close out this episode with? And remember, you guys, tune in to us next week. We do episode 3, and we actually get into the nuts and bolts of what Director Hollins has and how he's laying out a lot more of the structure, the forms, the noted lists, all those specific things with the band director. So you band directors, other than buying the book, if you got any questions, definitely tune in to us for the next couple weeks for that. But do you have anything that you wanted to close out the podcast tonight with?
Yeah, man, I actually wanted to shout out all the directors. All of the schools that are going to be involved. We having an HBCU night coming up.
Oh, nice.
And I'm trying to get the information real quick, just so everybody knows, to tell all your students that it's a lot of schools on there that you don't see a lot. So it's dope that they came together to do this event. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So it's coming up. Somebody send me that information real quick. I'm gonna tell you. Stay in there with me. I should have had it pulled up already. HBCU night. And I'm just excited because it was a dope idea to get this. It's on Tuesday, April 6th, 6:30 p.m. to 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. HBCU night. Tell the high school students to come on out, register. You can find it on any the band pages. Allen University, Bowie State, Clark, Delaware State. I don't want to read all of them, but if they go to my page, they can see the flyer for it.
Okay.
Tuesday, April 6th, 6:30 to 9. Make sure you register. Come in there with your, ready to play, and get an opportunity to get a scholarship to go to school. So HBCU night, April 6th, 6:30 to 9.
And you guys are doing this all in person? Is it gonna be at?
This is virtual.
Okay.
So they can hit all these schools at one time.
Wow.
One time, like almost 20 schools. They come in, they register, and they get the audition on the spot. People gonna contact them. It's all good. So reach out. Look for the posts. 20 schools, you audition one time for 20 schools. It's almost like how you can apply to all those schools at the same time using certain website.
Right.
Same thing. You come up here, you audition one time for 20 schools.
Wow, that's pretty dope.
Yeah, it's dope.
Okay. Yeah, you guys make sure you do that, and then I'll make sure I push that too on my page, and I put it on Twitter and all that stuff like that. But yeah, man, let me give you another round of applause, man. And I know I done said it before, but man, I'm just extremely proud of you, man. Just still remembering us at Smith. You know what I'm saying? Like it's just a trip, man.
And I appreciate platforms like this that's highlighting, the positive sides. You know what I'm saying? It's a lot of guys that just sometimes exposing some of the things that are not in a great light, in such a great light, or just trying to outshine people, just trying to outshine each other, like making yourself look good. Don't take anything else. Don't put nobody else down trying to make yourself look good. So just putting out the HBCU bands in a positive light. I appreciate your platform for doing that.
Yeah, man, definitely. You give you a round of applause for that. Just like you, my mom's in here too. So you know what I'm saying, I can't go that route because you know what I'm saying, I can't be all off the hook like at my mom's marching. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? So that's what's up, man. Again, shout out to you, man. Really proud of you. And then
Thanks.
we'll be back next week for again episode 3. It's gonna be part B, chapters 1 through 5. We really getting into the nitty gritty of the book and the specifics about what to do here, and all your experiences with the band director. We kind of talked about the trials and the tribulations in these 2 episodes, but now we're gonna really start laying the groundwork as far as being the band director, being here, being prepared, having all the things laid out for you so that you could be successful in the craft. All right. Okay, hold on. I got a question though. Speaking of my mom, this is my mom's. What's up, Ma? She said, how did you engage parents in understanding the value of working together in mission work?
And that's taking me back to my high school days. One of the main things, because I had a very, very active booster club when I taught high school, and they were used to almost just taking the band program over and running with it. Well, I'm a different personality, and so basically you gotta make sure that you're giving them a mission and something to focus on. You gotta keep them busy, and so I always keep a list of needs. Even now, I always keep a list of needs and whatever my priority is for that time. So I go into those meetings with those parents and make sure they can understand that if it's not directly about the students, we're not doing it. That's just it. Like if it's not to benefit the students, if this conversation or this argument is not to benefit the students, we just don't need to do it. So you got to keep it focused on the betterment of the program and what's best for the students, and make sure you're giving them just clear, clear direction on where you want to go, what your vision is, and how they can fit in it.
Okay, that's a great answer because that's also again leading into the next couple episodes because you actually talk about that in your book. And again, just to kind of a little more of a teaser, you guys have, and I'm trying to think. I don't know who else has one, but I know that the North Carolina Central, you have a Boosters Association. You guys are on Twitter.
Right.
So, and I love Twitter, especially because I'm able to get out a lot of information about the podcast on Twitter that's different from like Facebook because it's all the restrictions and stuff. But yeah, that's one of the things that's on there is the North Carolina Central University Boosters Association. And they're always sending out information. And again, that's coming from, a clear directive from the band director on down. So you guys are working together. And again, something else that we talked about in one of the previous chapters, that was one of the challenges you had. Because when you got into your current position, one of the things bad that was going on happening was from some of the parents. So y'all got to read the book to see what happened now. You know what I'm saying? But that's actually a good question, Ma, because you know what I'm saying? You actually laid out the directives there.
Good question. Good question.
All right. And again, shout out to all the people in the chat room. I see Brother Key. I already said. Whoever dyslexic 1946. Shout out to you.
Yeah, I know who that is.
Oh, okay, so shout out to you. Yeah, he's been saying some good stuff in there. And the great Taylor Whitehead, what's going on, man?
Man.
We chopped it up with him as well. I just said something about him, seeing him in that picture. But yeah, man, that's what I'm saying. Like this network of folks, there's some really good people, you know what I'm saying, in this network. So I mean, like you said, you surround yourself with good people, you're going somewhere. So that's definitely what we doing. So I'll go ahead and close out the show, man. Let me give you a last round of applause.
Appreciate the opportunity again.
No problem, no problem. If you're interested in becoming a sponsor or a patron to the Marching Podcast, please contact the show and we'll give you the criteria so we can start to pub your business using our platform. We'll play your commercial, we'll post your website on our blog, and we'll help send out your information through social media. So contact us so we can help build your business. And it's free right now. Like I said, with all the pandemic and the virus and all that stuff like that, I'm just taking people on for free to just help build, just so, people can go ahead and stack and save for when we get out of this thing. So contact us so we can help build your business. That's all the time we have for this podcast. Check out the website and donate what's in your heart to themarchingpodcast.com. Like us on Facebook. Follow us on Twitter. Thanks to you for listening. And remember, the eye is a better pupil and more willing than the ear. Advice may be misleading, but examples are always clear. See you next time. See you next week.